Dear friend, the Lord Jesus loves you. Yes, he loves you and he wants you to also love him back. Thank you for finding time to watch this video. Do well to share it as well. Our topic today is diriment impediments in general. Yes, impediments. I will ask you to be patient, and at the end of this short video, I am sure you will understand what we are talking about. Dear friend, an impediment is a hindrance or obstruction in doing something. It stops you from reaching a particular goal. In connection with marriage, it is a circumstance that bars a person from marrying. Dear friend, it is true that marriage is a fundamental human right, but not all can marry without first fulfilling or meeting certain requirements. Marriage is not a free-for-all game. That is why every institution establishes certain laws to restrict the exercise of this natural right to marry for the sake of the common good. Dear friend, Canon 1073 states, and I quote, "A diriment impediment renders a person unqualified to contract marriage validly," unquote. Diriment is from the Latin dirimere, which means to put an end to or terminate. Diriment impediment is quite serious, dear friend, because it cuts short any attempt to marry. So you may have the ambition or the desire to marry, but if you are hit by a diriment impediment, that desire or ambition to marry is put to an end or terminated. We are looking at diriment impediments in general because there are specific diriment impediments also, such as, for example, one of the videos I made on the canonical impediment of impotence. So this is a specific impediment that when it hits a person, stops a person from marrying. Dear friend, Canons 1083 to 1094 establish specific diriment impediments to marriage, and all of them are disqualifying laws. Canon 10 states what disqualifying laws are. It's a very important canon, and it states, only those laws must be considered invalidating or disqualifying which expressly establish that an act is null or that a person is unqualified, unquote. That said, it means that any person bound by the specific diriment impediment established in Canons 1083 to 1094 are ineligible either for any marriage or for a particular marriage. In other words, they may be capable of marriage, but are legally disqualified from it. Dear friend, ignorance of them is not an excuse, since, according to the experts John P. Beale et al., diriment impediments invalidate attempted marriages, even when the parties bound by them are ignorant of or in error about them and their effects, unquote. Dear friend, this is also firmly established by Canon 15, paragraph 1, which states, and I quote, ignorance or error about invalidating or disqualifying laws does not impede their effect unless it is expressly established, unquote. This canonical stipulation, my dear friend, makes it impossible to feign ignorance or deliberately making an error in order to evade the force of the impediment to marriage. Dear friend, that is why education on such subjects as marriage is very, very important for those planning to get into it. Unfortunately, many are not ready to avail themselves of the opportunity to learn. They get into it and they are hit by the reality. So please help to spread the word. Help us educate our brothers and sisters who are thinking of entering into marriage. Thank you. Let us continue. Let us now turn our attention to public and occult impediments. So an impediment can be public or occult. By dictionary definition, public can be defined as done, perceived, or existing in an open view, whereas occult is defined as hidden and difficult to see. My dear friend, Canon 1074 states, and I quote, "An impediment which can be proven in the external forum is considered to be public. Otherwise, it is occult." We will explain. In terms of canon law, a public impediment must be necessarily well known in the community. And John P. Bill et al. Say, but it is susceptible to proof in an ecclesiastical process, either judicial or administrative. So, if an impediment is public, it must be known, and you should be able to prove it in an ecclesiastical process. And there are two ways, either judicial or administrative process. If the impediment cannot be proven by any of these two processes, that is either judicial or administrative, then it is considered occult. It is considered hidden because it's not general knowledge. It cannot be proven. To prove the existence of a public impediment, evidence is of the essence. So you need evidence to prove a public impediment, and not just any kind of evidence, but those admissible in ecclesiastical processes. So you have the evidence, but the evidence must be admissible. It is not just any evidence. The evidence must be moral. It shouldn't be a stolen evidence. How did you arrive at the evidence? So it must be admissible in ecclesiastical processes. Some evidence can be established through public documents, such as birth certificates to ascertain a person's age, marriage certificate to establish prior bond, and ordination certificate to prove that one has received holy orders. On public documents, dear friend, Canon 1541 states, and I quote, "Unless contrary and evident arguments prove otherwise, public documents are to be trusted concerning everything which they directly and principally affirm," unquote. This means, dear friend, public documents, whether ecclesiastical or civil, carry probative weight. It must be noted that the public or occult character of an impediment does not alter its disqualifying effects. So an impediment is an impediment. Whether public or occult, its disqualifying effect is still very potent and effective. To be free from the effects of any diriment impediment, the necessary dispensations by the appropriate ecclesiastical authorities must be sought. And one simple definition of dispensation I love so much from my professor Dauria in Rome is dispensation is the relaxation of the law. So if you are hit by an impediment and you want that impediment to be removed, then you need a dispensation. And what is a dispensation? Simply put, the relaxation of the law. So, my dear friend, if you have enjoyed this short video, why don't you like, comment, and share it with your friends? Invite them to visit my YouTube channel, Father John Patrick Tendana, and subscribe to it so that we can all keep deepening our Christian Catholic faith. I wish you joy and peace. Thank you.